and happy about the young filmmakers, actors, singers, writers, producers that are coming up behind my generation. In particular, Barry Jenkins. Young people understand this young man made 10, 15, 20 short films before he got the opportunity to make Moonlight. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, Pete Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday, May the 14th. You're in the studios of WLTT 1180 AM. The show is called Noo Covers Live, Straight Talk, No Chaser. I'm your host, Dawud El-Amin, coming to you out of the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina. 910-765-0097 is our call-in line. The mic is open, 910-765-0097 if you'd like to call in and chime in. We're on Facebook Live on the Gospel Joy page. We also Rejoice Gospel Joy. We're also on the Dawud El-Amin page on Facebook. Welcome to my Facebook folks coming in. Nick, love you, bro. Happy Mother's Day. Nicole, thanks for your support. And you all that are joining in, continue to listen to the show. I want to say again, belated Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that I didn't get to reach out to yesterday. I hope you had a nice, wonderful weekend. I made a post earlier. You are the queen, my mothers. You are the first of civilization. You are the queen of the earth. I hope you had a good day. I hope the men gave you a good outing and made sure that they respected you. We say, guard the womb that bore you. That is a saying of mine that we say in our particular sect. We guard the womb that bore us. So we make sure the mothers always are lifted up. The women are always praised because we have to guard the womb that bore us and gave us existence in this life. I got a subject I want to talk about today. The end of privilege, the rise of humanity. The end of privilege and the rise of humanity. That is what you want to call in, please do. Chat me and I'll make sure I watch the line, 910-765-0097. Bishop at the station said, you don't do a call-in show, you do commentary. But if you want to chime in, my mic is always open. You're always free to express your opinions of what I say and don't say on Facebook. I love the critique. I love the criticism. I love the enjoyment of it. It's what we do. We try to get and put things in the atmosphere so they can grow. The end of privilege. I want to go to an incident that happened over the last several weeks in Oakland, California. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, go tune into my page. I wish I could come off Facebook and go to YouTube every day and put some of the posts I can do. I have my own website. I do, but you won't go there. You love Facebook so much, you won't go to noocovers.com at all. So I post on Facebook because I got to get this information in the atmosphere. There was a couple, a young man, a young woman, family, who had went to a park in Oakland, California, and they decided they want to grill charcoal cookout. The brother said he'd been doing it since he was a childhood, coming to the same park, coming to the same area, cooking since he was a child. It was a family thing. They have a cookout and they grill. There was a white woman that came by and happened to see the couple and the family cooking out on the, no, not cooking out, setting up to grill on the cookout. And she told them that it was illegal for them to cook charcoal in that particular area and that they had to leave. She saw fit to stop what she was doing to tell grown folks that they couldn't cook in that particular area of the park and they had to leave or else she was going to call the police. There are some sketchy videos out of it online. You can Google it. Google Oakland barbecue. You'll get the story. The Oakland barbecue at the park. Google that. It'll pull it up. You'll get the full story. The woman ended up calling the police. The funny thing is, the end of the video, she begins to tear up. She begins to feel like she's being the one harassed because they basically came back at her very harshly and very strongly, saying, "What business is it of yours while we cooking out?" And so she went to play the sympathy role, called the police, and boo-hoo, 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 baha, baha, baha. And what ended up happening is the most beautiful protest I have ever seen in my life. Good evening, Nicole. It was the most beautiful protest I have ever seen in my life. I'm talking about 60 protests. I'm talking about the dogs. This was pure beautiful. This was purely beautiful. Because what happened was Black folks finally got wise and they got smart and they got intelligent and they got crafty, they got ingenious, which is all part of our quality, who we are anyway. They decided, the Blacks of Oakland, California decided, here's how we're going to protest. We're going to go back to the same park a week later, and we're going to not only have a cookout, we're going to have a massive cookout with everybody in the community coming to the park to demonstrate the right to, number one, cookout, but to demonstrate how dare you tell us where we can cook our ribs at. How dare you tell us where we can cook our hamburgers at? How dare you tell us we cannot have a hot dog in this park because you, Miss Lady, decided to call the police. And the beautiful part of it is they broke out with the electric slide. That was the best video I watched all weekend. They broke out, if you watch the whole tape on my page, at the end of the protest, they put the music on and they went to a community-wide electric slide right on the spot where she said, "You're not cooking out here." End of privilege, the birth of humanity. End of privilege. I'm not calling it white privilege. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I'm going to call it the end of privilege. It's time out for people thinking that they have the right to dictate to other people what they should and shouldn't do. It's time out for people. It's time out for grown folks. It's time out for parents. It's time out for people trying to dictate to other people. I've been ready for this one. What I want you to do. And if you don't do what I want you to do, then I'm no longer with you. It's time out for that kind of privilege. The privilege or the right or the audacity to tell me what you think I should do. And if you're uncomfortable with what I'm doing, then you don't want, but if you're uncomfortable with it, don't buy. It's time out for privilege. And I don't call it, because in this particular instance, it was white privilege. She thought she had the audacity, because if you watch the end of the video, she immediately started boo-hooing and crying when the police officer came. She started, she was crying, faking, because she got handled by some women was telling her, you need to get that camp, you need to get up out of here telling us where we can cook out and where we can't cook out. But she felt it was her park. Her bottom line. She felt it was, I'm a taxpaying citizen, it's my park, and I'm going to make sure you don't cook where I want you to cook at. That's privilege. That's the same privilege that I see every day with white America. However, do you know that there's black privilege as well? God, I knew you was going to say that. God, when I saw you on my page, we're on Facebook Live, and you're on the radio audience, we're on Facebook Live as well. God, when I saw you, and I saw your text this morning, I know you wanted to slap that phone right out of her hand. I know. Yeah. Because she was just exercising her her right. 910-765-0097 if you want to call in and comment on what we're talking about. But when I say that, I say they're in the privileged period. Because sometimes we don't understand, and I'm not talking about Charlemagne's version of privilege, black privilege, because Charlemagne's my man, y'all know that. So don't think I'm dissing on Charlemagne for a second. That's my boy. I study him, I honor him. I'm older than him, but he's my mentor because I study him as far as when it comes to this mic right here. Charlemagne is my man on the mic. When it comes to this right here, that's my man. So don't think I'm dissing on Charlemagne for 1 second. But Charlemagne wrote a book about black privilege, but he came from another angle. I'm talking about the black privilege that I see every day in our own community that we don't point out as well. So that's why I say the end of privilege, the rise of humanity. Let me give you a story. I was at UNCW, and I got into a financial situation, and I wanted to continue to work on my master's degree. And there were, at that particular time at UNCW, we had a board of trustees, and there were several blacks on the board, 2 of which I knew personally, from outside of the arena of UNCW, just by doing political work in the community, social work in the community. I knew them on a personal level, had been at odds with them at times, and had been in agreement with them at times. I needed to get a clearance for get a loan so I can continue to work on my master's. And I had to go to we call it in the community, the bougie ones. I had to go to the elite of our community and ask them a favor. And the favor was, could they make a phone call or write me a letter to UNCW so that they could waive my fees so that I could get my transcript so I could continue on to work on my master's in psychology. One of the elite said to me, never bite the hand that feeds you. And I didn't understand what they were talking about, but they were referring to an incident that happened about 10 years earlier where I had said something that upset one of them. And they would let me know, you're going to pay the price for this because we are the elite of the community. And you have to go through this door to get what you want. I share that story. Oh, matter of fact, let me end the story at the end though. I didn't get the clearance for the loan. I had to eat that one, and they made me eat it. I share that story to say when we talk about privilege, when we talk about white privilege, we also have to address the privilege in our own community that's unfair. The privilege of some that have risen and forget where they came from. The privilege of some that the door was cracked open for and they were allowed to get in while others were left out with the same pedigree, with the same degree, with the same charisma, with the same technology, with the same swagger, with the same looks, with the same hair, with the same style, with the same color. But they were left out because they only had a room for 3 out of 10. So 7 stayed home and 3 went in. And the 3 that went in sometimes seemed to forget about the 7 that had the same pedigree but couldn't get in the door simply because they were not chosen. That's the privilege I'm talking about. I see it so many times in this community, and I have to address it because if I'm going to point the finger at the woman at the park who thought she had white privilege, what right is it of you to say who should get elected and who doesn't get elected? What right is it of someone in this community to say who gets in the door and who doesn't get in the door, who gets the meeting with the mayor, who doesn't get the meeting with the mayor, who talks to city council, who doesn't talk to city council, who addresses the school board and who doesn't address the school board? There's a word for it we call gatekeepers. I say they end the privilege, the rise of humanity. See, humanity level means everyone is on the same equal playing field. And that's what we're working toward. Humanity means that everyone, I know I got you, Kahan, Dan, I'm with you. The humanity means everyone has a chance to make it. Look at Thomas Crossan. I see Thomas Crossan joining on the mic. They say, I gotta talk. And then see, he joined in, so I know he knows when to join in. I'm gonna talk about it. Look at this store over here. Because he doesn't fit the mold. because he doesn't fit the criteria of what we think a black business owner should say, shouldn't say, how he should look, how he should carry himself, what attitude, because he doesn't fit into the circle. Because he's independent, he has his own money, he really could care less. Because he doesn't fit in the circle, the powers that be say, we're not going to support him. And when the powers that be in the community say, we're not going to support him, the rest of the community follows suits like slaves on the plantation. If the powers of the be would say, this black hair establishment is going to stay open, we're going to make sure it stays open. If the powers of the be in our community would just say that and support by going in themselves and taking the leadership of their following to the establishment, brother wouldn't have to be selling. He wouldn't have to be sitting up there worrying about sitting between two Korean shops trying to figure out he has a sale, because blacks won't buy his product. Not because the price is higher. I've been to his shop. His price is no higher than the rest. His prices are reasonable. I buy products from him. My wife buys products from him. We've shopped at his shop. His prices are very reasonable. In some cases, lower than the other stores. But he doesn't fit the criteria. He doesn't fit the mold. He doesn't bow to those in power. Black privilege has the end as well as white privilege. If we're going to attack white privilege, and we are well in our right to attack it. We're well in our right to say white privilege must stop. We're well in our right to say we should get loans the same at equal rate. We're well in our right to say we should be able to go to the car lot and get a good deal just like everyone else. We're well in our right to say, I saw a video of a man being stopped by the police who had an AK-47, who had 7 Glocks in his car, and he had a speeding ticket for 10 miles over. And the officer congratulated him on the arms in his car and told him to drive on. And me knowing that had there been a black male with an AK-47 and 2 Glocks in his car, and he had been 10 miles over the speeding limit, it would have been the end of the day. He may have gotten killed. So I understand the privilege. I understand the discrepancy. But when we start attacking certain issues, we have to always look in the mirror as well. And so I simply say the end of privilege, the rise of humanity, the rise when we start to look at each other in the same light, the rise when we start to treating each other as human beings, the rise when we started to care for one another as we care for ourselves in our community, in our circle. White privilege may always exist, but I want black privilege to end. I want the days to come over with when we're sitting there not understanding that just because you got through the door and I didn't, just because they opened the door and let you in, doesn't necessarily mean you need to hold us hostage and slaves. They didn't let you in for you to become our new master. And I hope you don't think you got in so you can become our new master. We don't need no masters, black or white. That being said, I'm gonna reverse gears now when I come to white privilege. Help the living fire. I got coconut juice, coconut water today. And my bottle of regular water, but I'm doing some coconut water today. We're getting ready for Ramadan coming up tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day, we're doing it on 30 days fast. So if you see me on the air for the next 30 days without my water, understand I'm on a fast. I don't y'all get on me about not being on my water. And if my speech gets a little slow, it's because we'll be fasting for 30 days. But I just wanted to share that with you when it comes to the end of privilege. If we're going to deal with white privilege, we also have to deal with black privilege. Just like that incident in Oakland happened with that woman. We have the same situation where we hold each other hostage in our own community. And we have to stop that. We have to stop holding each other hostage and holding each other, and we got to hold each other accountable. Now, that being said, there's another incident that I want to talk about, and I was going to wait till Wednesday to talk about this, but I'm going to share it with you today. I had a friend of mine. This is totally against the grain, and I just started talking about black privilege, but I'm going to show you another incident that happened that is totally against the grain, and it doesn't tie into black privilege, but it ties in how we have to treat each other with humanity. I had a friend of mine went to a establishment of a black-owned business, and he went there and visited well-to-do black-owned business, very high quality, good food. And he called me on the phone. He said, "Man, they got nice food, but they got white prices." And at first, it didn't hit me. I didn't even understand what he was saying. The white prices. He said, "Yeah, they got white prices." I said, "What's black prices?" He was addressing that they had the restaurant that he went to had white prices, even though it was a black-owned establishment. But I said to myself, "Wow, when did we start to putting a price on quality food?" The particular owner of the restaurant is a national representative of our community. So why would the individual have a problem with his price? Because he didn't feel it was a price suitable for blacks. My question then was, why did we go to the restaurant? Because if we went to the restaurant, we knowing what the price would be, I'm expecting to pay the prices on the menu. The same way the same way I just showed you, we have to hold those accountable in our community that slid through the door. We also have to respect them as well. Now, I'm not being hypocritical. I hope you don't think so. But the same way I just told you, we have to hold them accountable. We have to be respectful of their position of making it through the crack as well. That was a struggle as well. Getting across that bridge of success in this country is a struggle. Having a business that's successful in this country that's black-owned is a struggle. FUBU was a struggle. That's a struggle. For us, by us, that's a struggle for them to have a national brand product. And now this brother can go all around the country to do seminars. I admire Tariq Hidden Colors. He started off with small budget videos and then was able to do a series of 4. Now he's at the point that he has his own website, his own station. And he's going, but he had to struggle to do that. He had to sacrifice his family. He had to sacrifice his children. I'm sitting here with the privilege and the pleasure of being on a African-American owned radio station, but I know the owners of this station had to struggle. They don't have it as easy as the other stations. It's a struggle to make sure this mic is turned on every day and that antenna is shooting up and the waves, the voices are going. That's a struggle. So the same way that we have to hold our people accountable, the same way we have to hold them to the nail if they slip, if they don't represent us correctly, or the same way that they don't let us in or help us get ahead, we have to also respect the struggle that they had to go through to make it across that water, across that bridge, across that struggle. We have to respect them as well. So if I go to the brother's restaurant and the price is his price, I have to pay his price. I can't say it's a white price. Why? See, here's the funny part about us as black folks. I'm gonna use a not so good analogy, but one analogy I can think of. We'll go to a black-owned restaurant, and complain about his prices, right? And walk with me on this one now. We'll go to a black-owned restaurant and complain that he got white folks' prices on his menu because they're a little steep for us. And we sitting in a seat that he can easily fill and get double the tip. Yet we'll leave that restaurant and we'll go to the liquor store and we'll buy Patron before we buy Aristocrat. Man, think about that. You go to this part, you go to party at top shelf, top dollar, popping bottles. When it comes to entertainment and sports, having fun, you pay top dollar for that. But you'll sit in a restaurant and complain about a brother having white prices. I thought the price was based on the quality that you could get for your food. I thought the price should be based on what you can afford to charge. The price should be based on the quality, what you can afford, and the market value of your product. And if you have risen to the point that you can charge $22.50 for a steak versus $17.50, charge your $22.50, brother, and keep running. I inboxed the brother this morning and told him keep running. He haven't inboxed me back yet. He got my message. He texted me. I was going to put him on the show because I wanted him to tell about the experience. Because we have to do it both ways. I got to hold folks accountable when they get in the door, but I also got to respect their swagger when they get in the door and respect what they went through to get in the door. It's the same all the way across the board. We didn't do that with Barack. We understood the struggle he had to do to get in, but we didn't hold him accountable once he got in. Let's be honest, we didn't do it. I didn't do it. Let's just be honest. That's something we're going to have to eat. And we're eating it right now with the current situation in the White House. We're eating that because we can't say so much because we didn't say so much when the other guy was in there. Let's just be honest. We don't know how to play both sides of the street. At the same way I have to hold him accountable, I have to respect his struggle. I respect that as a black man running for the United States president of the United States, he had the hardest challenge there ever was. It was hard. It was rough. He had probably had more death threats than anybody ever heard of. I know he probably had more death threats than the man right now, or a little less than the one right now. The one right now probably getting a handful. But he had it rough. It was a hard, steep hill to climb. It was an uphill cliff. 910-765-0097. 910-765-0097. It was an uphill climb for him to go through. It was an uphill climb. However, when he got in, you did not hold him accountable to our issues. Let's just be real. We didn't make him accountable. And that's what we say to end the privilege, to rise to humanity. We have to end the privilege cycle that people are privileged and they don't get criticized. People are privileged and we don't respect how they got to be privileged. Humanity helps me see it both ways. Humanity helps me see, oh, I can see the brother struggling and got through the door. However, I'm going to hold him accountable. Now, this is the funny thing, because I think you all know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to call, I promise not to call the name, but you all know what I'm talking about. The brother has a truck that goes through the community that sells the same quality food at a different price. I thought that was unique. I thought it was very unique that here's an African-American man that has a restaurant that's upscale, very upscale. But he said, you know what? I want to make sure other folks get to eat my quality food as well and get to taste some of the different menu items that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a food truck. So that those that cannot afford really to spend I'm gonna give you the balcony seats. Those that can't afford to really spend the high end, I don't want you to criticize me. I'm gonna give you a food truck. I thought that was very commendable. I thought it was very wise. I thought it was very businessy too, also. Very smart businessman. Because he knows his food is good. He knows he has a quality. So why should I sell a steak for $16.50 when I can sell it for $32? I can get double money. Because I'm gonna put my signature blend on it and dress it up, and you're gonna pay for it. And if you don't want to pay for it, I'll give you some food over here just in case. But I'm high end. Hell's Kitchen in Las Vegas, the average menu price is $16, $17, and that's for an appetizer. He's Hell's Kitchen. But I can't respect my brother at the same level. Wow. Wow. I can respect Hell's Kitchen, but I can't respect my brother who's reached the same level and can charge the same prices. Wow. The same way we have to make them accountable is the same way that we have to make sure we respect the struggle that they went through to get through the door that most of us can't even get in because they won't let us in. They are not going to let 50 black restaurants open up in this city. That's the reality. The school board is not going to let 5 blacks, 4 blacks, 3 blacks, 2 blacks, sometimes not even 1 black on the board. It's been that way for the last 25 years. The closest we've ever had is 2 blacks on the school board at one time. That's just the reality. And it seems like it will stay the reality because we don't even want to think outside the box to come up with another solution to change the reality. The reality is what it is. And unless we start working to change that narrative, it's going to stay the same. You're not going to find a bunch of construction sites that are black owned, bid on contracts and get the contracts of building on this city or this battleship, that all the work that went on in the battleship. You're not going to get a whole lot of black contractors over there. That's just the reality. Where it is right now. Now, did I make a bleak picture? No, because we can change reality, but y'all just don't want to follow the blueprint. You can change the reality because I gave you the numbers in 2044. And you can change the reality by joining on with the minority communities and make one majority community. That's the easy solution, but we're not even going to go with that because we're too personal within ourselves to try to even operate in that mindset. We just want to stay on the sideline and continue to complain. No, I'm done complaining. I'm looking at the reality and then how I can change the reality. And if I can't change the reality, then I will live within the reality. It's just that simple. Nakahan, I ain't talking about that one. That's my brother. That's my brother B. I ain't talking about that 141. Nah. They really did, and the sad part about it is they wouldn't even go to 141. They went to the other spot. But I'm gonna leave that alone before I get in trouble. Me and my friend had a heart-to-heart. If he listens to this, he's not gonna get upset because we had a heart-to-heart conversation about this. We went back and forth because when he said white prices, I didn't catch it at first. I called him back like 3 hours later and said, "Oh, what did you mean white prices?" And he told me what he meant, and he told me the kind of clientele that had. And I said, "Well, that's what he has. He has that kind of clientele. He's a national known chef." What do you mean? Well, I don't understand why he had to. Because he has to. He has to stay. He can, number one. And instead of looking at it from that angle, we should be proud that someone is able to be in that circle. Because I know what it had to do to get there into that circle. So when I see that, I'm not ashamed that his prices are high. He has the same prices as Hell's Kitchen in Las Vegas. He has the same prices as the restaurant I went to in New Orleans. My friend I was talking to this morning said they were in Boston in a restaurant. And they went to a restaurant that served lobster, and the 6 of them, the bill came to $280 for 6 people. When you go upscale, you're gonna pay upscale. So why should he stay low scale? When he can afford to pick, when he can afford to charge the price and the people will come. Yes, it may eliminate some of the masses of our people. However, I have to understand the struggle that he went through. Oh, okay. So let me put it this way. And this I explained it to my brother. I said, so when I get a bestseller, because right now I charge to come. I charge to come speak. I charge an honorarium. Somebody asked me to come speak, and somebody asked me to come out and speak. I charge an honorarium, and basically my honorarium is basically whatever you can afford. So it's not. I don't have a $500 charge or a $300 charge. I have whatever. If they say, well, brother, can you come speak on your book or do a book signing? Yeah, whatever you can afford, whatever contribution you give me. Why? Because I'm a low-end writer right now. I've got 3 books that's published out of my own pocket. They're on Amazon. They are trademarked. They're in the Library of Congress, but I'm publishing myself. I'm my own publisher. I'm not at one of the big publishing house companies. But however, when I reach that potential, when that day comes, which will come, and I am a national known writer, I ain't asking for what you can afford. I want my $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 speaking fee when I come sit in your arena and speak. That's just how it works. You can call me bougie at that time all you want to and say, well, brother, I remember the day you used to do a contribution. That was before I became a national known writer. When I become a national writer, I'm going to charge you what the national fee is. Do you know Robin Robbins charges $80,000 to speak? $80,000 because she can generate that price. And I don't mind that she can generate it. Cornel West charges $50,000, $60,000 to speak. I don't mind him charging that price because he paid the price and made his way through that circle, and he can charge $50,000. Before Travis got in trouble, Travis was charging $50,000 too, but he's about down to 30 now, 25. He may be back down to the 10 market in a little bit. You charge what you can based on what status you have gained. And when you're selling 100 units on Amazon, you ask for the bucket. When you're selling 100,000 units or 1,000,000 units nationally, you ask for your price. That's just how it works. That's not privilege. That's just the system. I started this. So how did I get rated to the? I got there through the restaurant. I forgot. To the restaurant in the privileged rise of humanity. I'm looking back through my notes. I try to write notes for the show every day. I'm looking back through my notes. I started off with the in the privileged rise of humanity. I'm like, how did I get all the way to the pricing? Yeah, because even though he may be considered privileged, what did he have to do to get in that position? I don't mind folks that are privileged. I mind you holding it over my head when you become privileged. Now, if I come to your shop, you charge me the price. But if I call you on the phone and ask for a favor, not a discount on my meal, but ask just for a conversation of how I can get a young man into school so that he can study culinary, I expect that same call to be answered. And that's the kind of people we have. We have some like that and some not like that. Some people get in privilege and forget to answer that phone call for those that are less privileged. That's what I'm addressing. Because to me, the privileged that do not answer the calls or do not answer the come up or do not help someone else get up are no different from that lady who sat in the park and called on her cell phone because she didn't like those blacks sitting there cooking where she didn't want them to cook. She thought she had white privilege. And that's the black privilege I'm talking about. But I'm not talking about the black privilege where man can charge his price. Come by Mr. Jimmy's. I got to make that announcement. I see Glenn is on the mic. Glenn, go ahead, type that. Hey, Glenn, while you on the line, go ahead, type that address in there for Mr. Jimmy's. Mr. Jimmy's is closing down. I'm sorry we lost our brother, but I hear they're having they're going to liquidate most of the product there. You all that need some suits, you all that in business want to wholesale some stuff, want to get some stuff out there. Go by Mr. Jennings. Jen Wilson is doing something there right now. Glenn, Glenn, while you online, if you can, if you haven't got offline already, Kahan, tell him to type that address in there. It's on Princeton Street. You all don't know where Mr. Jimmy's at. He has suits and church wear. Sorry they lost our brother. He was a trooper. He was a pioneer in the community. Good hearted, good soul. I never went by there and didn't get good vibes from him. Sorry that he will be truly missed in this community. And one of the black businesses that now is going out of business, and it's sad as well. But he's going to be liquidating most of his stuff there. So you all, like I said again, that's why we gotta really get started. Wednesday I'm gonna talk about this more when I talk to business and how we need to get together business wise. With Mr. Jimmy's going out, and then we have Crossland, we should be able to buy those business up, y'all. There's no reason why 10 to 20 of us can't come together and find a way to put some money in a pool and be able to, when these businesses go out, we can buy them up and we can keep them in business. We can make sure that the business stays on. And Buddhists are getting older and older. Well, we need to make sure we keep Buddhists in the neighborhood. When it gets ready to go, we need to have a group together that's willing to take that and take it to another level. I always told Buddhists, I said, Buddhists, I want to see you like KFC. I want to see that chicken, that sandwich that you got like KFC. He could take it, and Buddhists, take the Buddhists, that picture and that smile, just take it all the way across the country. And that's how we got to start thinking. We got to start thinking collectively. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday when we come back on Wednesday. For you all that are going through the Ramadan fast starting hopefully tomorrow, if we sight the moon tonight, I hope you all have a blessed one. I'll try to make it my 30 days as much as possible. It is a struggle, and we're gonna struggle through it. I'm gonna struggle through it with it this week and get it going, and hopefully I can complete it. I'm making my intention tonight, so hopefully I can make it through and get all the way through the next 30 days. I will still continue to be on the mic, still continue to be here. Support the radio station, support WLTT, support Gospel Joy, support all the programming that we have here with the other listeners. Tune in on a weekly basis. This is your station, family. This is your station. I've watched the blood. When I talk about businesses, when I talk about people, I watch the blood, sweat, and tears that this family put into this station. And I can't say enough of how much we need to support what they're doing here at this station, trying to make sure that we have a voice in the community, making sure that we have an avenue where we can talk about political issues. We can talk about this issue, white privilege, black privilege. I wouldn't be able to talk about this on another radio station. They'd kick me off. Y'all know that. Where we can be able to discuss the issues that affect us in our community. The issue we had 2 young men this weekend, over the weekend, 2 young men close to me, 2 young men that I taught going to prison for the rest of their life. I had to do a show on that, but I was able to do it because of this station. I was able to talk about it and discuss it and help heal some of the pain that the families are going through, both those that are going to jail and a young man that lost his life. Well, a young man lose his life as well as them going to jail, because of this dumb stuff still, I've been on and a recap of that. I had a good conversation. You all that listened to the post that I had online, I had a good conversation with the young men over the weekend that wanted me to start the Young Kings back up. After we chimed through some of the disrespect issues that I thought they had, we were able to have a decent conversation for about an hour. I did a local call with them, and I gave them a challenge. The challenge was if they get me 10 to 20 young men that are serious, not games, not playing, but are serious, and then I'll help them start the organization back up and re-ramp it. So we end up on peaceful terms. Sometimes you got to deal with our young people with their attitudes and some of their disrespect. I've learned to deal with it because I was disrespectful to elders at one time myself. When a child, you speak as a child. Then I'm a grown man, I speak as grown men. That's how. So see y'all on Wednesday. Come back here on Wednesday show. We're talking money and finance on Wednesday. Kahan, get with that. And the older, yeah, right next to the thrift store. I get me that ad. Couldn't find the address. Y'all seen, we need to talk, bro. We need to talk. You keep popping me. Y'all seen is good at sending me information. He refused to come talk to me. Come talk to me, brother. I still love you. Peace and blessings. I'll see you all on Wednesday.